Welcome back to the channel. On this video, I'm going to start taking this plywood off for the reason that this shelf here, it goes down on this end over here. So it's not supported very well on this side. So I got to figure out what's holding it to the wall and then just get better bracing on there so it's nice and solid. So right now I'm just going to take off the plywood. Not much holding it to the wall, but this is where my electrical goes for these lights there. I have new lights already ordered, should be coming in either today or tomorrow. They're going to be flush mounted lights. This way it'll give it a cleaner look. So I took off that panel, and as you can see, there's my lights. Here's the other one, but you can't really see where it's tied into the wall. I see maybe the tip of a screw here, so it looks like it might have been screwed on from the outside, but there's a lot of play in it, so I'm gonna have to do a better job of passing it to the wall. So this is the trim to the upper windows. I'm going to take off the molding, and once we repaint, I'll be putting new molding around the windows. And on to the next one. So I can't really see what's behind here. I mean, this is loose, so I marked 2 spots where I'm going to cut, and I'm going to take this out. This way I can see where my studs are. Then I'll be able to really screw this piece here into the wall. It should be nice and strong. Okay, so I discovered why this is loose. The little stud that goes from here all the way to somewhere around here, so there's nothing there to hold it. So I already made my lines on the wall. This is where the stud is. So I'm going to cut it all the way out to here, and I'm going to put a knee brace, and then I can screw this piece into the frame. So I'll be doing the same thing to the other side. Just going to replace this one all the way across. Now the other side is a different story. It looks like this piece right here needs to be replaced, and then it doesn't really look like there's anything down here to hold it. So I will be adding another cross brace here all the way across here. There's a small piece here, but I'm going to replace it, and then this will be nice and sturdy. So the simple repair is turning out to be a little more involved than I thought, but this should be the last of the major repairs. And once we get that going, I'll be able to paint. So, you know, there's always something. You know, out of this whole build of the trailer, this was really getting to me. So underside of this bed, this is all rotted out. And that is part of the window. So it looks like I might be getting rid of this just so I can replace it. I sound a little discouraged. It's because I am. I wasn't expecting to find this. I was getting so close to completing this, but it's going to set me back a little bit. So, well, all we could do is keep moving forward. So here we go. This is damaged all the way to that stud over there. That stud looks like it's could be okay, but I won't know until I tear this one out. But everything else seems to be solid. Okay, so I want to give you a quick update. Yesterday, I got really frustrated after discovering this water damage here. Here I thought I was finishing up. I already put molding down, but when I went to make this a little bit stronger, that's when I realized that the stud is shot. Have to replace it. So I had to regroup. I had to pause, and but now I got back to where I'm ready to tackle this. So what I want to do before I remove this piece here, I'm going to take the molding off of this front window, and depending on what I see there, that'll determine whether I take this whole section down or just work on this. So let me get this going here. So my plan was always to remove this molding and put a new piece, freshening it up. But this is what I wanted to see here, because all this here is a sign that the wood is rotted. And from what I'm seeing, yes, it's going to need to be replaced. Okay, so knowing that, I will replace this. I'm feeling better about it now. I got a game plan, so I'm going to take this off here and then pull back this plywood, and I'll show you how far the water damage is. Okay, so after tearing into the wall, removing that shelf that I had there, and removing the plywood on the sides, yes, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. You know, this piece is shot, the one in the corner is shot. So is all the framing around here. So I will be taking this off as well, so I can take off the plywood to get a clear view of everything that needs to be done. Get my lumber before I take the window out. I was hoping not to do it, but it just looks like I'm going to have to. But it is what it is. You know, we'll get it done, and we'll know that it's, you know, done right, and not have to worry about it for years. Well, as you can see, I took down the shelf that was here, and it reveals all the damage. What's funny though is that on the last video, I put the my top on here and I screwed it down, and I said this is gonna be the last time I go in there, and yet here I am. I unscrewed it and took it off. But anyways, I wanted to show you the damage. I'm gonna get you a close up here. So here's a close up of the damage. Again, this piece is gone. This piece that goes right here is gone. Obviously around the window, and over to this side, the lower part of the window as well. The upper part looks okay, but it's just mainly the window. And so I'm trying to get ahead of the game here. I'm taking measurements. I'm doing my drawing. So tomorrow when I buy my lumber, I can take out that window really quick. That's where I'm at now. So a lot of work ahead of us, but we're getting there. Okay, so it's the following morning. I took all my measurements yesterday around the window, and I already purchased the lumber. So what I'm going to do this morning is start with taking out this window so I can proceed with the frame on this side. Okay, so we finally took the window out. Now I'm just going to clean off all this butyl tape. And looking underneath here, yeah, this 2x4 was shot. So I'm just going to change all these out, and I'm going to try to get it all back in today, and also the window back in. So taking this window off wasn't as hard as I thought. It was just a little intimidating, only because I've never done this before. This whole trailer is a first for me. But if you just are patient and you just take it easy, you'll be able to get through it. In taking out the window and taking off all the butyl tape, I see a few things here. Let me just get a close up. So you can see this big old crack right here. Has one on that corner up there, and it's the same thing on the opposite corner. So I'm not sure how I'm going to take care of that. I got to do a little research and find out what's the best way to not only take care of the seam here. I don't know if I need to have somebody weld it, but it's thin aluminum, so I don't know how it's going to work, if we're going to burn through it, or I just put Bondo. I got to figure out what's best, and we'll go from there. Okay, so this is the view from the inside. The window is already out. Now I just need to remove all the staples from the outside that's attaching the tin to the 2x4s here. And once I get that done, I'll take the 2x4s out and start replacing them with some new ones. That shows you how rotted out they were. It came out so easy. Now that I took out the frame to the window, I'm going to focus on this side here. Let me get a close up. So this is rotted out right there, and right that piece right there. So it's best to change those now before I do the frame. It'll be a lot easier to get to those corners. So that's next. So it looks like I'll just be able to get away with cutting this section out. So I wanted to give you a close-up of what I'm doing. This is the piece that I cut and put in place, and it's screwed in from the outside. So right where the trim goes, this is nice and tight. This is the piece that was rotted out right around here. So I angled it and I got it right in where it's supposed to be. So now I'm going to screw it in, and this is going to be nice and stable and secure. Then I'm going to tackle this piece right here. So I'm doing it one piece at a time, being careful not to disrupt or destroy the tin. So I think it's working out pretty good. looking pretty good. Okay, we got the frame all the way around. There's one more piece that goes on top, and then I can staple the tin and we'll be ready to put the window back in. Okay, so we just did the dry fit of the window. Everything fits. So now what I'm going to do is just like they had it before, I'm going to staple the tin. And then once that's done, we'll put the butyl tape on the window, and then we'll put the window back in. So let me start with this. I can't see. Okay, so here we are with the window in place now, and the window rock guard is back on. And I want to show you something really quick. So right here, I added a piece of aluminum on the back side and I riveted it in only because it was twisting on me. And I did the same thing on the other side. And now it's pretty even, so when I open it, it's no longer twisting. And pretty happy with the results. So now we're going to go back inside and continue on the framing by the window. So here's a different view of the window. There's the frame. It's already done, and as you can see, my windows are open. So now I'm going to focus this window up here. I'm going to replace that stud there. Okay, so I just unscrewed this window at the bottom part of the frame here, and it looks like this is really loose now, but I'm sure the tin is screwed in or stapled in, so I have to be careful here. Well, as you can see, I removed the stud, and it was pretty bad there. I don't know if you can see it. I went ahead and cut the stud there, and it looks like it's going to fit pretty good. I'm just going to screw it in where I can, and probably use a L bracket around the window here in that corner, but it looks pretty good, so I think I'm going to go with that. I don't have to worry about stapling the tin from the outside, because there was just like 2-3 staples on the outside, and I think once I put the screws here, L brackets, I think it'll be plenty strong. This is strong down here, so I don't have to worry about the structure being weak. Okay, so I screwed in the new stud, and I put L bracket right there and one right there. And I was able to screw it everywhere else. Now, I still have to put the beetle tape on the outside of the window and then screw it in from the bottom section, and we should be good to go. Looks like it's pretty strong. Well, good morning. Another week has gone by, and it's now time to do this section right here. I wanted to show you up close to what I'm dealing with. All right, so I want to give you a closer look of this side. So this piece right here is really bad. So it's pretty much non-existent. So I'm going to replace that. But I want you to see something really quick. Let me zoom in. This piece right here, there is about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch gap between this one here and this stud here. And if you go all the way to the bottom, let me see here. It's not attached to anything. So from the outside, you can see that this section has dropped a few inches, and I'm sure that's part of the reason is that there's nothing holding it on that side. So I'm going to replace that stud as well, so this way it hits this stud down here and it's attached to this one up there. Okay, so I just took off this 2x4 here. It looks like all the water was coming in through the screws that were screwed into the 2x4. When I took off the trim on the outside, that section was full of like green moss. So the water was coming in from the outside and coming right in through here. So I'm going to pop the window out and then put the 2x4 back in here. And that should do it. So in order to get to this last screw here and this one up here, I had to open up the awning so I can access this. So now that all the screws are off, I'm going to, put a little putty knife around there and loosen up the beetle tape and pop the window out, and I'll be able to put the 2x4 back in on the other side. Okay, as you can see, the window is out, and I also added this extra stud here for support. And the only thing that was holding this window in were these screws. There was a few staples that were rusted out there, so I'm going to re-staple it before I screw the tin back in. But overall, the frame is okay. The only thing that was wrong or bad was this stud here. So I went ahead and cut my 2x4. I'm just doing a dry fit. Make sure everything fits. Might be, oh, there we go. All right, looks like that's going to work. So, we'll just get that going and put the holes for the pocket screws, and then we can assemble this. That's a nice fit. Everything's screwed in. Now what I'm going to do is clean the outside. I'm going to clean the tin, make sure all the old beetle tape is off, put new beetle tape on the window, and then reinstall the window. Well, as you can see, the window's back in. So now it's been reframed. The front window's been reframed. And this side has been reframed. Okay, so now that the stud is back in here, I'm going to remove the window, put fresh butyl tape and screw it back in. So now that I have the frame finished around this window, I'm going to take this out and put new butyl tape on it and reinstall it. That's if I can get it. Got me right in the eye. Okay, so now that this is in, we're done with the window, and so that's going to be the end of this video. As you can see, I had finished doing all the windows and the frame inside. So the next video is going to be putting up the paneling, putting up that extra shelf and the trim. But for now, thank you for watching.